Today we're going to talk about Lewis dot diagram. Chemists have special ways of organizing molecules by using the atomic symbols from the periodic table. When chemists draw molecules, they represent each of the different atoms of the molecule using the individual atom symbol from the periodic table. To represent hydrogen, we use its atomic symbol letter H. When we draw this H, this indicates the nucleus of hydrogen. Atoms are made of three core components: protons, neutrons, and electrons. Electrons surround the nucleus in orbitals. Electrons in the outermost orbitals are called the valence electrons. The periodic table tells us how many total electrons an atom has, and it also tells us how many outer valence electrons that same atom has. Let's look at nitrogen. Its atomic number is 7. This tells us that it has 7 protons and 7 electrons. But total electrons are different from valence electrons, which are the electrons that actually participate in chemical reactions. Electrons are arranged in orbitals. The first 2 electrons are in the orbital closest to the nucleus. This orbital can only hold 2 electrons, so the 4 remaining electrons move to an outer shell. Chemists have a way to keep track of these outer electrons. It is called the Lewis structure. The periodic table of elements is a great tool that can be used to figure out valence electrons. We just see the number of columns the atom is in. For instance, if we look at the periodic table of elements, nitrogen is in column 5A, so we know that it's got 5 valence electrons. Carbon's Lewis structure looks like this. We draw a capital C to represent the nucleus of the carbon atom. Then we draw 4 dots around the C to represent carbon's 4 valence electrons. Outer valence shells are complete with 8 electrons. In other words, atoms are most comfortable with 8 electrons in their outer shell. One major exception is hydrogen, which needs only 2 electrons to be satisfied. Mr. Park, thanks for coming to my show. No problem. So you're the chief chemist around here, is that fair to say? Absolutely, I'm the boss. Okay, so explain to us how to use Lewis diagram. First, Lewis diagram is invented by Gilbert Lewis in 1916. Lewis diagram shows each atom and its position in the structure of the molecule using symbols that are drawn between atoms that are bonded to one another that represent valence electrons of the atom, a group of 1 to 8 dots, which shows the configuration of the outermost electron shell of the atom, also called the valence shell. Each symbol that we use for Lewis diagram represents the atom's nucleus. It is also known as the kernel of the atom. To figure out the number of valence electrons, we use the periodic table. Yeah, Lewis diagram can also be used to predict the type of ion that an atom might make when it forms an ion, and it's going to look something like this. So that's how you use Lewis dot diagram. No doubt. Use that to represent valence electrons? Hell yeah. And at some point you said something about what an ion is going to look like? Nope. Yeah, you actually did. Nah, that ain't me. Okay, well, this has been very eye-opening for me. I'm the boss. Yeah, you said that about 400 times. I'm the boss.